Thank you, Representative Petersburg, and House File 1910 will have a motion to lay this over for possible inclusion, and I'll also just note that in the next week or two, we haven't decided exactly when, but we'll hear kind of another Corridors of Commerce related bill from Representative Torkelson, and so we'll be addressing issues for this very important program. So welcome, and thank you for carrying this bill, Representative Petersburg. I'm curious to hear about the Corridors of Commerce appropriation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And as you know, it was 10 years ago that you actually, in this committee, created this program that I was very much a supporter of at that time, because I thought, and I still do believe, that it is another tool that can be used by the department to help with some of the funding needs, especially on some new construction areas. And the challenge over the years has always been how it's funded and how to get the money there. And I think it's time that we start realizing how important transportation is. And the general issue that we've had in the past about funding this out of general fund money has been because it takes away from other needs that the state might have. And yet, as we start understanding what transportation impacts, we realize that transportation is essential in all aspects of the state's economy and every person in the state. From the day you're born till the day you die, you are dependent upon roads and bridges. And now, especially after COVID and amount of stuff that has been going through mail and being delivered, we realize it's even more important. And so I think it's important for us to start figuring out how to get some funding mechanism for that. So this bill is fairly straightforward. It sets up $100 million each of the next 2 years from the general fund going into the Corridors of Commerce fund, and then it sets the base at $100 million as well, so that we have some ongoing funding for that, and that's as simple as it is. And with that, I'll turn it over to my testifier.
Thank you, Representative Petersburg, and Mr. Zart, welcome to the committee. Please state your name for the record and proceed with your testimony.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Shane Zart. I'm with the firm Flaherty and Hood, but here representing today the Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities, which is a group of more than 110 cities, all outside of the 7-county metro area. And I think, well, I guess for 10 years now, our organization has been a supporter of the Corridors of Commerce program, because it has funded a lot of the projects that were the types of projects that folks said they're never going to finish that in my lifetime. And what Representative Petersburg didn't say is that this bill and this program have also been personal to him. With the completion, without this program, we would not have seen the completion of Highway 14, Owatonna to Dodge Center, which leads, if you're still a resident of Waseca, Highway 14 runs right through your hometown and connects you to 35 and elsewhere. And also I know for others, Representative Brand, also on Highway 14, but there are countless others, Highways 23, and then I'll point out too, I'm sitting here on behalf of the Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities, but you've also got letters in your materials from the Metro Cities Organization, the Municipal Legislative Commission. I think when I testified with this committee on local government needs, one of the things I said a couple weeks ago was that we support this program not because it's one of those that puts money that flows directly to our communities, but it is money that has funded the vital connections between our communities. And just really to emphasize that point, the types of projects that without this program would have little or no hope of being funded. And so as we talk about, throw around things like ongoing, dedicated, comprehensive, when we talk about transportation packages, I think one of our contentions would be a transportation package is not comprehensive unless it has funding for Corridors of Commerce or a similar program for opportunities for those projects to have a chance for some being funded. So I thank Representative Petersburg for bringing this forward. His point about the need for ongoing and reliable funding for this program, I think, is one to emphasize. And I should stop there because, as the chair said, it sounds like this isn't our last time talking about Corridors of Commerce in this committee. So we can leave it there. But I'm happy to answer any questions about the program or our experience with it.
Yeah, we have time though. Any questions or comments? Yes, Representative Norris, and then we'll have Representative Brand.
Thanks, Chair Hornstein. I just wanted to highlight, I think this is one of the best investments that our committee can make. You know, we've got, you know, in my district, Highway 65, Representative West has mentioned it before too. And you've got a busy trunk highway connected to the National Sports Center, which is the second biggest tourist attraction in the state. I talked to small businesses along that route. They talk about the logistical challenges that having a congested highway all day long presents in terms of getting their freight and their supplies in and out. And then you've got the safety component as well, with it being one of the most dangerous stretches. And so, you know, you look at the elements that corridors of commerce are designed to address, and this seems like a really smart way to target some of our trunk highway dollars to make sure we're getting the best bang for our buck. And I'd put in my plug for Highway 65 being one of those.
Thank you. And I think we've got a comment about Highway 14, perhaps. Representative Brand.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Highway 14 comment is already taken care of, I think, but I just want to point out the fact that, you know, we have a surplus and we have the ability to spend money, and we're going to use some general fund dollars to potentially pay for this. These dollars save lives. These dollars help foster commerce between markets and final product, and so it's really important that we look to these dollars to help as we consider roads and bridge projects across our state.
Thank you, Representative Brand. And as I recall, and you know, when I first was a part of this committee in 2003, we heard a lot about Highway 14, and one of the more compelling arguments was about safety. And you know, there were a lot of crashes, and so I think that was really one of the driving forces behind the funding that Highway 14 received. So, anyone else have any comments or thoughts they want to share? Anyone else in the audience? Great. Well, Representative Petersburg, closing comments?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. You know, this is not designed to be the end-all to solve all the problems that we have. And as Mr. Zart said, this is only just the beginning. We still need to deal with ongoing maintenance and operations for the department as well. But this is one tool, and this is a good start. And this may not even be enough, but we have to start somewhere and keep moving forward. And I just thank you for hearing the bill, and I ask for everybody's support.
Thanks so much, Representative Petersburg, and we will be laying over House File 1910 for possible inclusion in the omnibus bill, and appreciate everyone's testimony and comments.